guys, welcome to our first practical. We're going to do a session today that might seem quite simple to start with, macaroni cheese, but there's a few techniques involved, like making a roux where you can make a thicker sauce using flour and butter. So I'm going to show you the ingredients that we've got, and then we'll put it all together, and then maybe you can make this for dinner tonight, because this is exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to use this for my kids' dinner tonight. Okay, so for my macaroni cheese, I've already cooked the macaroni for a few minutes, not completely because it will cook a bit more in the sauce. I've got some cheese, obviously. Got about half a cup of cheese. You can use any cheese you like. I've got Emmental. I've got 2 cups of milk. Okay, I'll put all the ingredients on the Schoology as well. I've got 1 tablespoon of butter. I've got 1 tablespoon of flour. I've got 100 grams of bacon for a bit of a smoky, meaty flavour in with the macaroni cheese. You don't have to put that in, you can make it vegetarian. You can put any vegetables as well if you like. I've got a little bit of sweet corn, about 2 tablespoons sweet corn and broccoli. This is for 2 people, so you can double the mixture if you want to make it for a family of 4. So in here, this is just 1 cup of macaroni cooked. So it's quite a bit there, as you can see, okay? And in this last bowl, I've got the seasoning. I've got a teaspoon of oregano, I've got a teaspoon of thyme, I've got a little bit of paprika, garlic powder, and salt and pepper. So I'll put all that in there at once. I can throw that in when my sauce is cooked, okay? Right, to start with, all we need to do is to get a little bit of oil in the pan, and we're gonna get this bacon frying off. So we're going to get the pan up nice and hot, a little bit of oil in the pan. I'm using one of these big pans here that you can like put the lid on. You can use a saucepan, frying pan, whatever you like, okay? And depending on what you want to do with your pasta afterwards, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it and have it tonight. So I'm just going to put it in a tin like this, and when I want to cook it later, I'll put a little bit more cheese on top and put it under a hot grill just to get that cheese bubbling. But this will be fine just to sit outside, cover it with a little bit of cling film until I want to use it, cook it. Okay, so we've got our oil heating up. We're going to go in with our bacon. You'll also need for this, by the way, spatula, tablespoon, teaspoon. We take the spatula, scrape out into the pan our bacon. And if you don't hear a sizzle, that means that your pan's not hot, right? It's best to get your pan hot first. So that will start sizzling in a second. I should have turned that on before I started videoing, shouldn't I? Okay, we're going to let this get heating up. You could do this with different types of pasta as well. You don't have to use macaroni. You could use penne, you could use spaghetti, whatever you want to do. You could add some chicken if you want to add to it. You can add different spices. You could make it a bit hotter, put some chili pepper in it. My kids aren't that fond of really, really hot food. They'll try stuff, but they won't like go super spicy. You could put different vegetables in, different cheeses, mix it up, make it your own. And I want you to show me videos of yours, okay? All right, so this is starting to sizzle. Give a little stir. What you want to do is let the bacon start to change colour, because I told you this before, right? When it starts to brown, that's the sugars, the natural sugars coming out of the meat. So that will add flavour to your dish. So you want it to start to brown. You don't want it to catch. Remember, if it goes dark, black, it's burning, it will taste bitter. But you want it to be kind of just starting to caramelise, to get sweeter, release those sugars. That's when we can go in with the rest of the ingredients, okay? So it's sizzling now, you can probably hear it. So we're just going to turn it around a little bit. It's already changing colour, so it's going from that bright pink colour to just slightly paler. And it will release, because bacon is cured, and it's cured in salt and water, which is called brine. So as that brine comes out of the meat, you'll notice that a little bit of liquid comes out. We want to kind of burn that off, and then you'll just be left with a caramelised meat. So I've got my cooker up full whack at the moment. You can have it as high as it will go if you want, or if you've got a really good hot hob, turn it down a little bit, but you want the pan nice and hot at the moment. So, our bacon is sizzling. What we're going to do now is make our roux. So we want to get the butter in there, and we're going to melt the butter and then put the flour and stir it, and it'll make like a sort of thick paste. The butter goes in, starts to melt straight away, flour goes in on top. Give that a little stir. Stir it into the bacon, it's absolutely fine. And you'll see it will calm down a little bit because the coldness of the butter is cooling down the heat of the pan, that's fine. But it'll start to make a little paste. As that butter starts to smell kind of biscuity, like it starts to go brown, we don't want that butter to burn. So as it starts to bubble and it's all melted, straight away, go in with a little bit of milk, okay? So just a splash. And we're going to add this milk a little bit at a time. What happens is you'll see the sauce start to thicken. I know some of you have made a roux before, but some of you it might be your first time. As it starts to get thicker, become a solid, a little bit more milk. And you can see each time it goes liquid and then it starts to thicken again, okay? Now the great thing about me doing this on video, guys, is you can do this a little bit at a time. You can pause it, you can play it back if you miss something. So I'll just keep going. You can always rewind it and rewatch it and get the bits that you missed, okay? But this is starting to get thicker now, so I'll go in with a bit more milk. If you pour too much milk in at once, what will happen is you'll have this big liquid and it's got to come to temperature, so it'll take longer to make. Or you can put your milk in the microwave for like a minute or 2 minutes. Heat the milk first. That means that you cook your sauce faster. But my sauce is getting kind of nice and thick, and I might not need all of this milk. Maybe just a splash more. What you need is enough sauce to cover your pasta, so it's up to you. That's probably enough. So I'm going to let that just heat through. And then what we need to do next is, once we've got our sauce, is we're going to cook these vegetables. Now I've cut them really small, okay? As you know, that means that they'll cook quicker. Sweet corn is already cooked, so that's absolutely fine. You can eat that now. So we just need to heat that up, but we need to cook this broccoli a little bit. Just kind of steam it through. So we'll put this in to our sauce, which is nice and thick. Okay, and we're going to put it in now. Just cook that through. Okay, so let that cook for a minute. This is why I use this pan, because I can put the lid on. It helps it cook faster. Okay, let that heat through. When that's had about a minute or so, we'll get the pasta in, cheese, and the seasoning. And then it'll be ready. Super quick. So just let that heat for a minute. We can clear away a little bit. This is something that you guys are really good at, clearing up. I'm just putting it in the sink at the moment. So I've got 3 things left to go in. It's like elimination time. I've got 3 things on my board. That's bubbling away. That's what I'm going to do now. And also because I'm going to let this sit today until I use it later, the broccoli will cook on a little bit in the heat of the sauce. So I don't have to cook it for too long. My sauce is lovely and thick. I'm going to turn that down a little bit now. I don't want to burn it and get like burnt bits of flour on the bottom of the pan, so I'm turning that right down now. To about half heat. And then cheese in. Stir that in. And then seasoning in. And the last thing we add is our pasta. Because what will happen is, even though the pasta's cooked, if I put it in this sauce while it's really, really hot, it's going to continue to cook the pasta. The pasta will get really floppy, and also it will soak up some of our delicious sauce. We don't want it to use up all of our sauce. Okay, now that is smelling and looking good. I can smell the garlic, I can smell the paprika, I can smell the herbs. I'll show you this in a second. Now, I'll get the pasta in. Stir that in. Just mix that up. Stir that through. That's looking really good. Might not last until tonight. They might even have it for lunch. We'll see. I might have it for lunch. Now, that is looking really good. So what I'll do now is I'll scrape it into a tin. Into my tin. That's it. I'm going to scrape it in there and I can show you it then in a second. Now this also stops it cooking. I don't want to lose too much sauce. This will cool it down a little bit. Just scrape that out, don't waste any sauce. This is why we use the spatula, so we get all the sauce out the pan. Now, doesn't that look delicious? Okay, so all I'll do with that later is I'll sprinkle a bit more cheese on top, maybe some more herbs, and then put it in the oven. I can either put it in a low oven to bring it back to heat on about 160 degrees for about 20 minutes. That will heat it through without cooking it and making it too dry. Then I can put the grill on or turn up the oven and put it high in the oven, get that top brown and bubbling, okay? Let me know how you get on. Give it a go, okay? Try it. Like I say, I'll put the recipe on so you can make it for yourself and a friend or for your brother or sister. Double it for your family. And I want to see some pictures, okay, of how you put your own little stamp on this recipe. Hope you enjoy it. Good luck.